Hello, hello. I am Coach Corey Sartori. I empower high achieving women to grow in their self love, confidence, and relationships for a more fulfilling personal life. I am excited to be sharing with you today a few ways to start setting healthy boundaries in your life. And I am a big believer in setting healthy boundaries because I know that when you have boundaries, whether it be in your personal relationships, your work life, whatever, it will add value to your life. And I'm just a big believer in setting boundaries. And so today I wanted to share with you how to set healthy boundaries in your life because I know it's super valuable. And anytime I work with clients and I have them set healthy boundaries in their personal relationships or their work relationships or even in their health and their physical being, right? They just are so much happier after they set these boundaries and they feel better. They're less overwhelmed. They're less stressed. And so I'm excited to share with you today some ways to set healthy boundaries. So there's so many benefits to setting healthy boundaries. If you set boundaries in your life, you can grow your self-esteem. You can have a better self-esteem. It will improve your relationships, whether it's your personal relationships or your work relationships, right? When you set boundaries and you're honest and upfront with people around your expectations and what they can expect of you, your relationships are just better overall. And it also allows you to conserve your emotional energy, right? I think so many times when we're not setting boundaries and we're saying yes, yes, yes to everything, we get overwhelmed emotionally and then we get frustrated or we get stressed out and it just doesn't serve us. And so there's so many benefits to setting boundaries. And so you just need to decide what are the benefits for you when you choose to set boundaries in your life. What are the benefits that you will get from it? So, some of the boundaries that I've set in my life, and I just want to quickly share with you some of the benefits or some of the boundaries I've set and why they are valuable for me. And so one of the boundaries I've set in my relationship with my husband is that we don't raise our voices to each other when we are in an argument or a disagreement. And in the past, we definitely would have yelled at each other, but now we choose to not raise our voice. So if somebody needs to go take a minute and breathe and chill out before they can have a calm conversation, that's what we do. And another reason why we don't raise our voices in an argument is because we have a 4-year-old. And anytime we have raised our voices, even if we're just having fun, if we're just playing around, like it makes him uncomfortable and he starts yelling and like trying to get us to stop. And so being aware of that and setting that boundary within our relationship that we don't raise our voices to each other, we don't yell at each other is really valuable. And even starting to set that boundary with our son because, right, he's 4, he's all emotions. And so he gets really frustrated and upset and he yells. And so setting that boundary with him of like, we don't talk to each other that way. It's not 100% there, but we're working on it and it's just makes it so we have a better relationship. It also allows me to stay more calm in the conversations with a 4-year-old, right? So that's one of the boundaries I've set within my relationship with my husband is we don't raise our voices, and I promise you it is valuable. Another boundary I've set is with social media. So, right, I run my business on social media. And so I unplug one full day every single week. Usually it's Saturdays. And I try to also do half of the day on Sunday. And it just allows me to be more present in my life. It allows me to be more present with my son and with my husband. It also just allows me to like not be thinking about work and my clients and all of these other things I need to do. It just brings me more peace. And so setting that boundary of I am completely shutting down social media one day a week really helps me just be present in the moment, and it helps me feel less scattered in my brain. Another boundary that I've set in my life is that I work from 10 to 6. So this is a work boundary for me, and I work from home. And so that can be really hard because when you leave from home, you can go, clock in and clock out. But when you work from home and you run most of your business on social media, it's so easily to access it, whether it be on my laptop or on my phone. And so I've set the boundary that I work from 10 to 6. And so after that time, I don't respond to emails. I don't respond to messages in Messenger. So if you've ever messaged me after 6 o'clock, you know that I don't respond till the next day, or if it's the weekend, I won't respond till Monday, because that's a boundary I've set for myself. And when I started doing my business again, when I fully dove into working after I had breast cancer last year, I became very quickly aware that I needed to set boundaries within that, because I would be going to bed at night on my phone, right? And then all I'm thinking about is work, 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 work. And so setting that boundary for me has really helped me quiet my brain, shut off, and go to sleep on time rather than having things spinning in my mind But it's really valuable, and it just, again, allows me to be present with my family, and allows me to be present in my life, right? My life is my family. It's not work. And so constantly reminding myself of that and setting those boundaries is powerful. And then another boundary I've set in my life is around fitness and health. And so a boundary that I have with my husband is on Mondays and Wednesdays, I go to spin at 7 a.m. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I go to yoga at 8. And those are my musts. Like, I get to go do this. You're going to watch Lincoln, and I get to go have some me time and do these things for myself. And so setting boundaries within your own self-care is really important. And it doesn't just have to be activities, right? You can set boundaries in the way that you're eating, right? Your boundary you could have at home is nobody brings fast food into the house. And that is like a boundary that we have in my house, is we don't have fast food because we know it's going to make us not feel good. And I don't want my kid hooked to fast food. So those are some of the boundaries that I've set for myself in my life. And it's really valuable, and it's helped me to just live a happier, healthier life. And so I'm going to share with you, how you can start setting some boundaries. And the first thing that I want to offer you is, in setting boundaries, is to think about, where are you out of balance in your life? And so this can be in your work life, this can be in your personal life, your health life. Where are you out of balance? And right, this group is called Life Balance for High Achieving Women. And so we want to be creating more balance in our life so we can have more happiness, more health, more joy in our everyday life. And so something I can offer you is just getting a piece of paper and, pen mark down the middle. One side is where do I feel out of balance in my life? And then the other one is, what boundaries can I set to help myself feel more balanced? And so, maybe that's at work. Your boss has been asking you to take on multiple projects and you just keep saying yes, yes, yes. Maybe you need to set a boundary that, like, until I have this done, I'm not going to take on anything else. Maybe you have a coworker that keeps asking you for your support or your help, and you keep saying yes. And maybe that's a boundary you need to set, right? It's not your work, it's theirs. So maybe you just need to say no. And then another thing at work is, maybe you've taken on a mentee, maybe you're mentoring somebody, but it's just making you feel overwhelmed and out of balance. And that you can take a step back and say, I can't do this for you right now, or these are the boundaries I'm going to set around our relationship. And so think about where you're out of balance in your life and what boundaries you can set, even if it's in your relationship. What boundaries can you set? And it doesn't have to be just with your partner, but it can be with your family and your friends. And what are those boundaries that you need to set so you feel more balance and happiness and joy in your life? And so that's the first thing that I want to offer you is think about where you're feeling out of balance in your life and what boundaries you can set to help you find more balance. The other thing that I want to offer you is listening to your intuition. And this is such a huge thing. And this last year, I have connected so much to my intuition. As I went through breast cancer, my intuition is what helped me make the right decisions. And I feel so good about the decisions I made for my health through that time, because I was connected to my intuition. And so I want to offer you that. So if you can tune into your intuition when it is, your gut is telling you that something is feeling off or something's wrong, listen to it. Whether it be at work, you have a gut feeling that something feels wrong, dig into that. What is a boundary you can set? In your relationship, maybe you get in an argument with your partner and words are exchanged. Your gut feeling is telling you that's not okay. Maybe you need to set a boundary on the words that we speak to each other and how we speak to each other, right? Maybe even in a relationship is that boundary of, if there's an argument and it's starting to get heated, you take 30 minutes to just cool off, and then you can come back and have a calm conversation together, right? There's so many boundaries you can set within your personal relationships, your work relationships, your friends, and your family. So think about listening to your intuition, connecting to it. And if something feels off, if something feels gross in your belly, listen to it and set a boundary around that. Something that is super, super important is learning to say no. Because so many of us are people pleasers, right? I know I used to be a people pleaser. I would say yes to everyone. If a friend called me and said, let's go out for a drink, and it was 10 o'clock at night and I had to be up at 6 o'clock, I would just be like, okay, right? Like, I'll figure it out, which I was like, oh my gosh, so exhausted the next day. It didn't serve me. But I was a people pleaser, and I was always worried about hurting somebody's feelings or what they thought about me. So I would always let people go past my boundaries. I don't even think I had boundaries, right? I just let people do whatever they wanted, and it just didn't serve me. And so building awareness around this and setting boundaries and saying no is so important. Say no. Stop saying yes to everybody, because I know if you're a yes person, you're feeling overwhelmed. you're feeling anxious, you're feeling stressed out. And so know that it's okay to say no. The next thing that I want to offer you is connect to your values. So when you are setting boundaries in your life, think about what your values are. So for me, one of my top core values is integrity. And that means that if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it fully. And if I am, and another thing is time integrity. Like I'm always on time. I'm always early because I'm so focused on showing up in that way and having integrity around people's time. I really want to value people. And so integrity is really big for me. And so if I'm working with a client that doesn't have integrity, that is a conversation that I have immediately, because I will not allow somebody to show up late on the calls that they're not valuing my time, right? If somebody's not doing their homework, then that's not valuing their money or their time. I've also had, since I teach yoga, I've had people reach out to me that want me to teach yoga. But if they are asking me to work on a day that I don't work, I usually don't work on Thursdays because I try to spend time with my family on Thursdays. So if they want me to work on a Thursday, I'm going to say no. If they want to pay me less than what I request, then I'm going to say no, right? Like I know my value. And making sure that you feel comfortable in saying no is really important. And so I challenge you to start saying no. Being a people pleaser will not serve you. It just causes you to be overwhelmed and stressed and anxious. And so start saying no. Where do you need to say no in your life? And the last thing that I want to offer you in creating and setting healthy boundaries is to get support. So maybe you don't know exactly where you need to set boundaries in your life. This is a great opportunity for you to hire a therapist, hire a coach, right? A coach can always help you. I love helping my clients in setting boundaries. Or maybe it's even just a conversation you have with family and friends so they can help you work through something. And so getting support is really valuable when you are trying to set boundaries. And so that is the last thing that I want to offer you, is get support so you can set boundaries that serve you and that are healthy boundaries. So setting boundaries in your life, they can add so much value, so much more balance, and so much more happiness. And so if you don't already have good, solid boundaries set in your career, in your personal life, in your health, I challenge you to start setting boundaries today. And like I shared with you earlier, make a list, right? What is feeling out of balance in your life? And what are the boundaries that you can set so you can start finding more balance? So I hope you found value in this video. I challenge you to set some powerful boundaries. And if you are looking to set boundaries, if you want to grow your self-love, if you want to grow your confidence, if you want to have happier, healthier relationships, then let me be your coach. I have 2 spots open for March. I only had 1 spot last week, but I decided to open up 1 more spot since my 6-month coaching program that I just created has been such a huge hit. So if you are ready to transform your life, then send me a DM with the word program. I'd love to get on a call with you and share what I can offer as a coach. And I'm excited to connect. So thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for being a part of my community. And I look forward to connecting soon.